Now we're recording.
Now we are recording. We just missed some good content.
Let's try to recoup it.
Oh my God.
All right. Hello, it's Jamie and Marcus.
Test of Thyme.
Love, passion,
and hustle
in the restaurant business.
And episode number 12.
Yes, episode number 12.
We missed like 3 minutes.
So you said something about I said, oh, it's episode number 12, right, and you said, how long have we been married or something, and I said
20 years in business. I said,
so we've been married 25 years, and well, this year will be 25
I knew
years.
That, by the way.
You did know that.
When she asked me and the camera was not recording, I knew that.
You did know that. And then you said, we opened 20 years ago. So we were 5 years married when we opened our restaurant.
Yeah.
And, then I said that, the hardest time in a marriage is usually around 7 years. That's what they say. It's like the 7-year itch, the 7-year stretch, whatever you want to call it. They say that is a difficult time in a marriage. And we were probably in the toughest time
of our business.
At 7 years married.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I'm going to ask the question today, which you don't know that I'm going to ask the question.
Okay.
Let's see. So do you want to talk about anything before I ask the question?
No.
The
show's getting great response.
Is it?
We're getting emails, we're getting
awesome.
Comments.
Really?
People are sharing it. Yeah.
You're not sharing it with me. Communication.
I told you that the other day.
You did. You told me.
I told you that the other day.
You did. So my question is, what do you think was the turning point in our business that turned our business around, that made us more successful, that changed us as a couple, us as as entrepreneurs, us as a restaurant owner?
So okay.
So there's a lot, right?
There's a lot there. So I think what really changed that or the deciding factor was realizing before we even opened, by going to some Tony Robbins stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I went to Unleash the Power Within. You went to it afterwards, after we opened.
A few years later.
I went to Date with Destiny, which didn't turn out well at the beginning because I came back wanting a divorce. Remember that?
Yes, I do remember
Date with
that.
Destiny. So because you're there, and a lot of people are either, finding out they have the best thing going, or they're like, why have I put up with things for so long? And I just happened, I don't know what happened. I just came back and I was like, I don't know if I really want all this marriage and stuff. I don't know if I want this, but what changed? So 2002.
I'm expecting you to go through another midlife crisis very soon, actually. As you're approaching your 50th birthday.
Yes. 2002. I went to Tony Robbins, Unleash the Power Within, or 2003. November of 2003.
Right before we opened.
Yep. And, very powerful event. And you and I are on the same team. And we have to keep reminding ourselves that we are on the same team. In
everything, include business, relationship, kids, everything.
And it's so hard because the bickering, sometimes is just frustrating.
On both ends.
On both ends. It's very frustrating.
On both ends, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think I bicker to you. You just don't talk. That's frustrating. The things and how you say things can be frustrating. And, taking responsibility for them, it can be difficult on your end and on my end sometimes, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, so we're talking about what changed our
marriage or relationship,
our business.
Our business. So yeah, so really what changed our business, wow, so I wasn't willing to give up on the business.
Neither of us were.
No.
I think we devoted so much time and energy into it that we were not going to fail. Like, no matter what we did, we were not going to fail.
And I came from a great country club job, making 6 figures, working 10 months a year. It was great. 29 years old, no complaints. Right.
And I was a stay-at-home mom.
We had a house. It was life was great.
Yes.
And but it wasn't
satisfying. It wasn't fulfilling, right?
No,
it wasn't fulfilling.
Wasn't fulfilling for me.
Because it wasn't yours, and it wasn't what you wanted to be cooking all the time, and it wasn't what you wanted to be doing.
I didn't want to work for somebody else, is what the bottom line was. I did not want to work for somebody else. I didn't want to work for people that were less qualified than me, and being told what I have to do and this and that. And then bottom line is they would say, you have to watch this money, you have to do this. No, if I think it's right, I want to spend the money. So the same thing with our travel trips to Europe, to Italy and Spain. Like we did these trips with a partner. Um, wasn't much of a partnership. We learned valuable lesson. We learned, but we weren't in control of the trips.
No.
It was our concept. It was our idea, and it was almost like she was hiring us and barely paying us. And it was our guests, mostly our guests, and it was all of our ideas, all of our wineries, all of our contacts. And it was just like, well, here you go. Here's your payout at the end, which barely covered our travel expenses.
It didn't cover our
travel expenses.
It didn't cover much of anything.
No,
actually.
no.
So
I was like, this isn't right. Why don't we do this on our own? So it's just like going from a job, knowing that, I don't want to do what certain people are telling me to do and like be paid to do. I don't want to do that. I want to be my own boss. I have my own opinions on food, and I want to express those.
You want espressos?
Espresso?
Oh, espresso.
You have an espresso? You have an espresso?
No, I thought you said espresso. I was like, what? Express it.
Express it. I want to express how I feel on food.
I also think once we stopped running the restaurant as a hobby and started running it as a business, that was a big turnaround for us.
And we still do a lot of things that are hobbyish.
We do, because this is our love and this is our passion as well as our business.
But the difference is now we can afford to do that.
Right.
Before we couldn't afford to do that because we had all these bills to pay, and we still have bills to pay, but now we have excess income, less bills. And if we want to spend, $1,000 or no, if we want to spend $2,500 on cool high-end mezcals to put on our bars, so we're the number one mezcal
we do
bar in upstate New York, we can do that. And that's what we did.
Yes.
Back when we first opened, we only spent $2,500 to stock the bar.
Stock the bar, yeah.
And that was a stretch. That was all we had in our bank account. It was like, we have $2,500 left now to stock the bar.
Right.
And we couldn't afford it. So now we have the luxury, but we don't need all those mezcals we have. We don't need those to be successful in business. We do them as a talking point.
Right.
We do them as something cool and exciting. And for the few people that really love mezcals, that say, oh, wow, you do have the best mezcal list north of New York City, it feels good to hear that. And it's like an ego stroker when people say stuff like that to us.
You need ego strokers.
To me, especially.
Yeah. You need it more than I need ego strokers. Yeah.
I do.
You do.
I do.
You need them all the time. So what, so anything else that you think changed our business or our perspective?
Yes. Being willing to learn is always success, always the key to any kind of success. Willing to learn. So I'm a lifelong student. So do you. I think we're fair to say we're both lifelong students.
You were talking about Anthony Robbins before, Tony Robbins, and I take his Unshakable class in January. He does a 5-day free in January. He's been doing it since the pandemic. So this was his 3rd year. And I really enjoy it. It's almost a reset for me. And I think that that's super important. And I also, used to fight you on listening to books in the car all the time. And I just, sometimes, and I still feel this way, sometimes I just don't want to think anymore. I just want to not think. We think all day from 6 o'clock in the morning until, whatever time at night. I don't want to think sometimes. And I realize that I just get overloaded with information. My mind just does not want to process anything else. And it's like that sometimes in the restaurant as well. Some days I am just overwhelmed, trying to watch what's going on, trying to bartend, trying to, do all of the things that I need to do, that my head wants to explode. If I slept until 4 o'clock every day, got to work at 4 o'clock, and I was fresh, and it would be totally different. But sometimes I just don't want to listen to a book on tape. I don't want to read anymore. I don't want to be sitting at my computer. You can do that more than I can. I just sometimes just don't want to do that.
So I agree with you.
But I enjoy listening, learning, and all that kind of stuff.
So yesterday, I was in my office at 6 a.m. Working on our trip to Italy. I had to rewrite the itinerary. which was very tiresome because you have to get a Google Maps. You have to put all your pinpoints on the Google map of where you're going, make sure everything flows, make sure everybody's open those days and it's that. It's literally a 3 to 4, even 5-day process.
Mhm.
And I was sitting here and I was so like pulling my hair out when you got to the office at 7:30. I'm like, please, I need your help. Just call off names to me, call off days. I want to cross-reference and make sure this is flowing right and just take a look at my work.
Mhm.
I sat at my desk until what 12:30, 1 o'clock without a break. And I'm like, oh my gosh. We went to the gym. I came back. We sat back down again. I said, I'm going to the Airbnb houses
You
to
never
check
made
on
it.
things. I never went. Next thing I know, it's 5 o'clock, time for service. We have a wine dinner. And when I sat down at the
You
bar
were
at
exhausted.
5:30, I looked at you and said, I just want to go lay down. I just
You
want to
were
nap.
you were exhausted. Yeah.
I just want to go lay down now. I'm done learning, listening, doing whatever. But I hung out and did the wine dinner. We had a super busy night for a
We
Monday
did.
night, super busy night. So it was great. But so it's that lifelong learning. So we were running Airbnbs for 2 years,
Right.
quite successfully too, by the way. And all of a sudden I took a course and now the Airbnbs are on fire because there were things that I didn't know. You're not expected to know everything that's happening in your business and business techniques. Things change so
Yeah.
quick. And you just,
So many things are changing. I mean, even from 20 years ago, I
oh
mean,
yeah,
the marketing,
even from 2 years ago,
the
techniques,
Facebook, the Instagram, the
text message
social media,
marketing,
the text,
geofencing,
everything.
everything's
Even
changing.
the way we're communicating with our guests is completely different.
So being dedicated to being a lifelong learner and understand that I
Mhm.
don't know everything,
Yeah.
I know a lot. I know a lot, and I'm proud
I
of know.
can't even believe you're saying
I
that you
know a
don't
lot.
know
I
everything.
know a lot.
You do know a lot.
That's because I put the time in to study it.
You do, yes.
And people, I look at people's Airbnb profiles and I just tell them what's wrong with it. They're like,
Yeah.
how do you know this? Because I paid money and I took a course and I learned from a mentor. I learned from people that are doing it right. And it's, believe me, it's much more than just listing a house on Airbnb, throwing some pictures up and waiting for the guests to arrive. It's far more than that.
Yes.
But there's a lot of people that are successful or moderately successful just doing that.
Mhm.
But if you just tweaked it, and I always like to say, every single baseball player had a coach. Every Hall of Famer really had a coach. And and just a fraction of swinging the bat too late, too little, the wrong angle totally changes your numbers.
And practice, right? Like
So
in everything.
if you can make an ad a little better to get a better response, that changes your numbers. If you can do an email that has a little better engaging content, better send time, better follow-up time, better automation, and it can change one little thing, it changes your sales on that. And one thing change, but you might need somebody to point that out to you. Be like, okay, the reason Elon Musk was so successful with Tesla was because he hired nobody from Detroit. He didn't want people coming from Detroit telling him what they've always done.
Right.
That's not what it's about, what they've always done. It's here's what our vision is. And I don't want you to have any preset limitations, and I just want you to do it.
Yep. Yeah. I as you were talking, my mind is always going, and I think just being that lifelong learner all the time is super important. And I learn things every day. I was mean to the driver today of the, who was delivering. It wasn't his fault. He didn't know what something was.
Can we say that whole thing for
oh, you want to do that? Yeah, you want to do that another
episode? Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a topic for another episode about that.
But learning is my point is very important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely.
Yeah.
So
all right.
Let's see.
What you want to say on that?
So Tony Robbins before realized we're on the same team.
Mm-hmm.
You and I are on the same team. Being a lifelong learner.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, it takes hard work. It's not easy. Nothing is easy.
No. And if you think you're just going to go make $1 million and not work, that's impossible. If you think you're going to, open well, if you think you're just going to open the doors and people are just going to flock to you and you're not going to spend any time training your staff, knowing the food trends, knowing,
or you need to pay somebody.
Right.
You need to pay somebody to do that for you.
That's going to happen. It's going to be very difficult. You're going to have to find the resources, and you're going to have to, you might not necessarily have to work that hard, but you're going to have to find the people that are going to work hard for your business.
Some of our friends that we know that are very successful restaurateurs barely work their business. barely work the business, 25 hours, 30 hours. Sometimes they don't go there for 2-3 weeks to their restaurant, and they're very successful restaurants. But they've empowered people and put people in place to run it as if it was their own restaurant.
Yes.
And make things happen so they don't have to be there. Because let's face it, if you open another restaurant or 2, 3, or 4 restaurants, you can't be at every restaurant.
You can't be everywhere.
And there's a formula to replicating yourself, replicating a management team that is, that is a must and necessary. So PALS, 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 the burger joint from Tennessee, that area down there. So they are extremely successful. They outsell McDonald's, outperform McDonald's, and they're basically selling a burger, a hot dog, iced tea, soda, French fries.
Very limited small menu.
Yes, and drive-in only, very simple menu. And they're outperforming McDonald's like crazy in those markets. And they could be opening stores across the country with this formula. But part of their formula is they will not open a store unless they have a qualified partner manager to run that store. So they will not just say, we're going to open a store and figure out who's going to run it later. No, they have the team in place. They're bringing them up through their organization, their farm system. And now they have a guy, a girl, an individual at a restaurant that shows managerial potential, and this person needs a store. They open up a store for that person. And that's how they replicate their success. Not by opening and trying to fill later. Some people go about it the wrong way. So there's the right way to do things, and they've got to figure it out. So it's just a matter of the sequence, and it's a matter of the skills, and either you're doing the work or you're paying someone else to do the work.
Absolutely.
But I think the one thing you have to understand is things are going to happen that are going to screw up constantly.
And you're going to have to be able to adjust and change and make the adjustments to make it work.
You are the problem solver.
Absolutely.
We
have to be the problem
solvers.
We have to be.
We are problem solvers. There's not enough people in the restaurant. We have to advertise more. The staff isn't trained properly. We have to train more.
Exactly.
It's not the right team members. We have to hire differently. We have to interview differently. We're always solving a problem that is in our own hands, that we're capable of, or that we're taking responsibility for.
And that's a big thing, taking responsibility for it. So, all right. Good answer.
All right, folks.
All right. This is Jamie and Marcus.
You can find us at restaurantgrowthsecretsuniversity.com. Go over there. Our book, 50 Mistakes That Business Owners Make, is available for free. Just go over there, hit the button down, pay a few bucks for shipping and handling, and we'll ship you that book out right away. So 50mistakes.com, you can go to there as well, and that'll roll you right to Restaurant Growth Secrets University. There's lots of free learning over there. I learned a lot for the Airbnbs through free learning. I watched tons and tons of YouTube videos, before I ever even paid for one. And, then I paid for some, and I feel like that was like the graduate course. But I did all the other stuff for free, and it's possible. Just go watch videos. We share a lot of stuff, and that's what this.
Read books, listen to books, podcasts. There's so much stuff out there.
That's what this podcast for, is to learn.
Absolutely.
So share our ideas and our success and all that kind of stuff. So Test of Thyme, episode number 12, Love, Passion, and Hustle.
Thanks for watching.
Have a great day, everybody.